From the early history of man, the ability to eat properly had always been an issue, as it is believed that man has three basic needs, which are food, clothes, and shelter. It is believed that even out of these three, the importance of food supersedes the others. It is also further preached that in taking food, a balanced diet is very essential and important. Protein is of utmost importance. The benefits of protein in the body system cannot be overemphasized. From infancy to adulthood, research has shown that it is needed for proper growth and development of the entire body system. And for every nation, the growth and development of its citizens is regarded as attaining national greatness. This explains why many nations have and still strive hard to make food available to the citizenry, and as well as seizing every opportunity to make life better for its citizens through various programs in providing food. In the provision of food, poultry feed has always been a very good source of protein. Little wonder various countries have supported poultry farming, which include chicken, turkeys, birds, eggs, and so on. But lately, poultry farming has become a major point of focus. The reason is really quite obvious. With the outbreak of the so-called avian flu, otherwise known as H5N1, expected concerns have been raised. Issues burning on the safety of lives and protection of good health are questions on the lips of many Nigerians. Will a responsive administration fold its arms and leave the situations to speculations and mere guesswork? This is what the program tonight will unfold and show what the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. But first, what particularly is avian flu? Avian bird flu is a respiratory infection affecting the respiratory organs of affected birds, resulting in large-scale mortality of birds. It is a disease caused by the avian influenza virus. The old name for the disease is fowl plague and was first reported in Italy in the late 18th century. Even though there are other types of influenza virus which affect other animals, this particular one is known as the avian influenza type A viruses, and wild birds are believed to be the natural carriers of the virus. They pass the virus through their droppings, while sparrows, pigeons, and other wild birds carry them to chickens. The virus, it is believed, spreads through the intermingling of ducks, chickens, pigs to all living in close proximity, while humans living in close contact with infected birds risk contracting the virus. Research has shown that pigs and dogs carry and multiply the virus without dying, while chickens have little resistance against it and therefore die under heavy viral load. The first case of this disease was recorded in the Asian countries. For a long time, the avian bird flu looked like a mirage to Nigerians. It was regarded as something to be read about on the pages of newspapers and magazines. But all that seemed to have changed with the breakout of the disease in some northern states of the country. The entire nation has been agog with reports on the flu and the grave implications for the poultry and human lives. These are indeed trying period for the poultry industry and the entire nation as a whole, as the alarm over the outbreak of the disease has no doubt started taking its toll on the poultry business in Nigeria. Poultry food in some quarters is now being avoided, and some individuals have even gone to the extent of avoiding the site of a poultry farm. They have even gone as far as sending text messages warning people to stay away from poultry products if they still wanted to stay alive. Yet it is noteworthy that the very existence of many Nigerians depend largely on poultry industry. Thousands earn their living for poultry farming. Obviously, Nigerians, especially poultry farmers, are not having it easy at all, still battling with the pervasive hopelessness that envelopes the society today as a result of the hardship and poverty in the country. The outbreak of the avian bird flu, one can say, is a clog in the wheel of developments of poultry farming in the country. So far, the good news or relief about the avian bird flu is that it is not in existence in any of the southern states, and the authorities concerned and various stakeholders have been working round the clock to curtail the influence of this disease and ensure that the industry is spared the agony of a downturn, because if urgent steps are not taken, there is no doubt that the poultry business in Nigeria will go under, and to mention the adverse effect will be stating the obvious. In order to avoid this situation, various stakeholders have been on their toes. Lagos State, of course, is not left out, considering the sensitive nature of the state as the most densely populated state in the nation, with an estimated population of about 17 million. As of December 2005, the state cannot just afford to have the breakout of such disease in its environment. Therefore, it is obvious that the emergence of this disease in a state like Lagos, where chicken is a popular source of animal protein, will have a serious economic and social implications. And based on this, as a responsive and responsive government, the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been working round the clock to put in place necessary precautionary measures to prevent the outbreak in the state.
The avian bird flu is a viral disease of birds. The strain that has just been reported, which can cause every fatality for birds and for man, is the H1N5 of the virus variety. It occurs in birds, but it could also be transmitted to man. The first one was reported somewhere in Europe, and because it is the carriers are birds, are wild birds that migrate during the winter to warm areas. As they move along from the droppings of the birds, domestic birds and birds on the farm will also pick it up. That is why it was first reported. In a place where a farm is infested with bird flu, the signs you will see are immediately, the signs you see are symptoms that will show in the birds. Could be cough, sneezing, the eyes could be swollen with some exudation of fluid from the eyes. The wings could be swollen, the combs could also be swollen. The quality of eggs for layers will drop, the eggshell will become thin, and it could reduce to decline in the quantity of eggs produced, and eventually it can result to high mortality within a very short period of time, very high mortality within a short period of time. And for human, for those who work with in such infested farms, they stand the danger of contacting the bird. It is a disease that could be transmitted from animal to man, and the process of a person contacting it is only for those who work an infected farm, and the process of contacting it is by breathing in the pathogens of the disease, not by consuming even an infested bird. It's not by eating, consuming an infested bird that you contact. The process of contacting the disease is by inhaling the disease. And those who stand the risk of catching that are farm workers who work in an infested farms over a period of time. It's a disease, one, that can be controlled. It's a disease that can be contained. It's a disease that can be managed once it is identified in time.
To start with, interstate movement of poultry birds has been stopped by the higher authorities. This, the administration, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, is very strict about, as the interstate and international boundary surveillance has been beefed up. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives officials monitor strictly the various borders to ensure the restriction of movement of birds into the state.
Nationally, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, the federal government, has even made that pronunciation that for now there should be no movement of birds, live birds, from state to state. And the Lagos State government has made a pronunciation about 2 Fridays ago that for now there should be no movement of live birds into Lagos State. And to that extent, we have put up measures to ensure that we police all the entries into Lagos. We have about 10 of such entries into Lagos, where normally, even before now, you have our control posts that monitors movement of agricultural products into Lagos State. At the outbreak of this disease in Nigeria, the first thing we did immediately was to conduct an in-house training for our extension officers. About 201 of them. We conducted a training for them, a refresher course on what to look for or how to identify the disease and what step to take, what form of education to give to farmers. About 200 of them. And from that crop of people, we also sent some of them to man the control posts, in addition to our officers that were already at all the control posts. 1. 2, the stakeholders themselves, the Animal Science Association of Lagos State, held a workshop at Lagos State Polytechnic, wherein they brought in all the stakeholders, the poultry farmers, the processors, the feed millers, and ministry officials. We also went through a workshop that is updating our knowledge and what to do, how to safeguard the economic interest of the farmers, and of course prevent any health hazards to the people. We followed that up on Monday of this week with another workshop now hosted by the ministry at Okobagege. We also invited all stakeholders, representative of Veterinary Association of Nigeria, Lagos State, representative of Lagos State Poultry Association of Nigeria, stakeholders and market men and women. And what we do, what we did again was to bring new information to them about these birds, educate them about these birds, how to identify the birds, how to prevent particularly movement of people, even visitors, to the farms. Visitors should not ordinarily not just enter into a poultry farm if he has no business to be there, because such movement could also bring in contamination and diseases and pathogens into farms. We also told them about that for now that they should not take in new stock be it day-old chicks or growers or layers. They should not bring in new stocks for now.
This year, then I mean the trailers coming in, they they have to park on the tarmac for us to get the facts about them, to examine the animals. I mean whatever, I mean the state of health, as I've said, to know the statistics, the number of animals coming to the state, the type, and then the generally, you know, as it's a sort of checkpoint for these animals coming to the state. Because in most cases, Lagos here is the end point of all these animals. Some of them have been brought right even from outside Nigeria. So we have to be here to make sure we have a 24-hour service. We have people that operate, I mean, that comes in the night. They operate the night shift, the afternoon shift, and the morning shift. So we just have to be. Most cases, mostly now, as it has been being reported about this bird flu incidents now, we have been. Our vigilance has somehow increased. I mean, we've increased on our, improved on our vigilance in order to make sure that no sick animal, sick bird is being brought into the state. Sick or dead birds have been brought into the state in order not to, to forestall the, in order to forestall the introduction of this particular disease into the state.
Lagos State, the instruction is that all animals, all birds should not get to Lagos State from other states. That's the instruction on that. And we are going around to ensure that all the farms, we inspect them, and any birds that are sick, we do the normal post-mortem, and anyone that is, that has suspected something like flu, we take them to VOM for final approval. But in Lagos State, up till now, there has been no case of bird flu.
What about the disposal?
The disposal, presently there is no case of bird flu, but if anyone has bird flu, it should be thoroughly, it should be incinerated. And in case of burial, it should be at least 1 meter deep. So presently there is no case of bird flu in Lagos State.
Are there measures put in place to take care of that?
Of course, there is measures. The Lagos State veterinary staff, they are everywhere with the farms. They are going around to inspect, to make sure that any suspected case is inspected and postmortems are done. But presently there is no case of bird flu in Lagos State.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives has further divided the state into 6 zones for effective coverage, and each is manned by a team of veterinary officers and necessary supportive staff. The teams carry out from time to time surveillance of all farms within their zones, monitor and report any outbreak of suspected flu cases for quick intervention.
irú àìsàn tí a sọ pé ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn àìsàn ọmọ lólò yìí àwòrí àìsàn kan tá a lè sọ pé pàtó ó wà lára ilé báyìí. The same thing on the second time.
Further, the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives has further embarked on a massive public awareness programs by teaming up with various stakeholders in the state to organize various workshops for poultry farmers and stakeholders on precautionary and basic diagnostic measures and to also sensitize Lagosians about the disease and the necessary measures to take.
I've had a series of press outings, and we've held stakeholders workshop. We had that on Monday, and the farmers know that when they have problems, they can call us. We have our extension too. It's not only when this problem started. We have our extension in the vet department. We have also the extension section in the Agri Development Authority, where we monitor all these poultry farms. But the main thing is those with backyard poultry farms, because they are not much. Maybe they just keep them. But we've been having calls, on people that have backyard poultry, and we've been visiting them to monitor their birds.
There have been rumors that poultry food causes death. Even school children have been brainwashed to believe this. However, authorities and experts concerned say otherwise.
Integrity of science. This is corroborated by a statement made by Director General World Health Organization, and it's on the website of World Health Organization. On the integrity of science, you do not contact bird flu by consuming properly cooked poultry products. It is science. It is not speculation. It is not hearsay. The process of contacting bird flu is by inhaling the pathogens, by breathing in the pathogens from infested fowl, not by consuming properly cooked poultry products. And that a bird or some birds die in a flock or in the market does not confirm it is bird flu. Birds die. Birds could die as a result of many causes. It could be stress, it could be starvation, it could be dehydration, it could be other diseases. So that a bird die, particularly now, one should not just simply ascribe it to bird flu.
Lagosians that to the best of our knowledge, there has not been any reported outbreak in Lagos State. Because we heard of the outbreak, even before it was discovered in Nigeria, we have been on surveillance, and we can confirm authoritatively that there has not been any outbreak in Lagos State. We are sure Lagosians, and particularly school children, that chicken is good for their health, and eggs in particular. It's been confirmed, through research, that it's very nutritious, and there is no way you can contact avian flu through the consumption of either chicken or eggs.
Meanwhile, various traders and stakeholders have started counting their losses, as the once vibrant and bubbling poultries and markets spread across the Lagos metropolis have now been deserted. Citizens now avoid them. Various workers at this poultry insist that it is safe to consume poultry food, pleading with the citizens to ignore rumors going round.
We heard it over the radio, and the way the people are pushing it, we are afraid. Even we are intent to, we wanted to buy 3,000 again, but because of this situation, we are no more interested in buying the hood again for now.
Nobody will come buy them. Because people they fear. Say if you check the one power go die. People they fear. Nobody will come buy them. Nobody say get sick you. Nobody say you see another person get problem. Me the chopper. People the chopper. But they come outside buy. Nobody will come buy them. So I want to make a help me tell people, make it put it inside radio, for TV, tape, television, tell anybody make come chop the power. Because now anybody right there the chopper. No one give problem.
Apart from the fact that it is absolutely necessary to ensure safety and good health for a citizen. The state government also considers it quite essential to protect its hold on commercial activities of the state. After all, the state cannot but continue to protect this viable area it has dominated for years. The viability and relevance of the state in the Committee of States depends largely on being very active and protective about commercial and industrial activities. One fact is clear. The administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always and will continue to seek means and ways of ensuring that its citizens receive the utmost in terms of care and sustenance of good life. As I've always been profiled on this program, there are various policies and projects which the administration has initiated and implemented to improve the general well-being of the people. The Asian bird flu is another challenge which the administration has decided to tackle effectively and ensure that all hands remain on deck to stop it from reaching the state. On Tuesday, 21st of March 2006, the nation will take another bold step towards making the nation truly great. From the 21st to the 25th March, a head count of every Nigerian will take place, tagged Census 2006, of which its major aim is obtaining information about every member of the population of our country. In essence, getting an accurate or very close figures of the population of a community is what census is all about. For years, and as a matter of fact, from the time mankind had lived in communities, had the need to know the population figures become very necessary. This fact must be clearly indicated. Head count or physical counting of members of a community is not a modern phenomenon. It is also not against any cultural belief, as it is assumed in some cultures and religions that one's children should not be counted. Census or head count is indeed very beneficial. For mankind today, no other social method is better in accumulating statistical data about a place and its people. Census itemizes each category of people in a place. It provides avenue to know each segment, bracket of every age group, sex, level of education, and practically every area of social factor. It is also used as research materials for every area of planning and execution, besides the fact that the business community relies on it greatly. Equally important is the fact that it stands as a vital tool for a nascent democracy. For any community or any nation to advance and improve on its social standing, it must be able to know its population, as well as each category of the citizens making up the total population. This is why census is conducted periodically by nations all over the world.
Census, to our layman understanding, is the head count of every individual in Nigeria. We want to know who we are, how many we actually are in our country.
Well, census is a part of development. Yes, I say it's a part of development, and it brings unity and development in short.
The word census is a word that is being described from economics point of view in order to know the population of a particular country at a particular point in time.
The nation's first attempt at a head count was during the colonial era in 1952 to 1953. Then, Nigerians were counted to be just 31.6 million. This figure was considered to be an undercut due to some reasons, chief among which was that quite a number of the citizens then believed that the purpose of the head count was for tax collection. Another major reason was the logistical difficulties in reaching many remote areas. In 1962, another census was conducted, but almost instantly cancelled after much controversy and allegations of overcounting in some areas. In view of the importance of the exercise, it was repeated immediately in 1963, and the figures were accepted as the population of the country. In 1973, another census was conducted, and again, in the face of reported controversy, it was cancelled. It was not until 1991 that another attempt was made, and a total of 88,992,220 was returned as the national population figure. Since then, no subsequent nationwide census had been held, although there have been various attempts to derive population estimates at state and local government levels. Till date, most official national population estimates are based on projections from the 1991 census. Apart from the readiness of the nation to embrace the 1991 census, the other factors that aided the exercise were marked improvements in transport and accessibility of most areas, in technological capability, and in the level of coherence and legitimacy. However, it must be pointed out to some extent the results of the 1991 census. Given this scenario, how really ready is the 2006 census? According to the National Population Commission Chairman, Chief Sumola Makama, the Commission was quite ready to conduct a hitch-free, acceptable and credible census for the country.
Yeah, we need census for very sure we need it. It will enable the federal government to determine
the resources they will make available for a particular area or section and the infrastructure needed in that area?
Well, I believe it is important and I believe it is necessary. I believe that census gives a community a voice. It lets people know what you feel and what you need in that particular area. And when you are counted, when the number of the people in that area is known, then the government will know how to appropriate the necessary things to them. So I believe that it is necessary. And I believe it's high time we were counted again, because I think the last census was how many years ago? So I think we are ripe for another one.
Okay, in a country, before you do anything, you have to know exactly, especially talking about social and economic gains and everything. So you have to know how many people you have in your country. Whatever you're bringing out, even to a particular state, you need to know how many people you actually have in a state, not just coming out with vague numbers and different stories like that.
Census is very good for all the individuals. It's very good, and I would like to advise many people out there that to stay in their homes. Just let the people who are in care of census, let them come and count you in order to know what the government have for the people. Maybe to do to rebuild the pipe-borne water in the streets, and then there are many roads. There are many potholes in the street. There is to rebuild everything. So those are the things. But if you are not at home, maybe assuming that you hear that they want to count you or something else, then you take your market and go to the market. That means you are not a part of the citizen.
After census, I think there's more advantage to it if it's properly done, in the sense that we'll be able to know exactly what is the number of people staying in a particular country, and also to help the government itself to know what kind of provision they are going to make for their citizens in the time of housing, in a time of maybe amenities, many of things like that.
One fact that will continually be emphasized in Lagos State is this: the state has the smallest land area, yet it is the most populated. Besides this overwhelming situation, over 80% of the large population of the state resides within a very small land area in and around the Lagos metropole. This situation has characterized the city to become noted as one of the fastest growing in the entire world. Time and again, the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu continues to emphasize and put in place policies, programs and projects that have direct impact and help to improve the general well-being of the people of the state. Since May 1999, every sphere of life has received considerable attention. The consequence of this is the unending influx of people into the state on daily and sometimes hourly basis. Today, the city of Lagos has the highest density of population, a small space of area in the continent of Africa. Besides physical project policies that seek direct involvement of the people and create an enabling environment to make citizens achieve their dreams, continue to be rolled out by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. The effects of these measures can be seen everywhere. Apart from the teeming population constantly on the move, developments in various areas, stimulating hope, are indeed sights to behold. But for the policies and measures to be continued to even far greater ways and with more impact, the government has called on the people to stay here in the state where they reside for the year 2006 census.
I wish to re-emphasize the fact that there will be restriction of movement of everybody except those on essential services between or from the 21st to the 23rd, the first 3 days of the census exercise. There will be restriction of movement. Everybody between the hours of 8 in the morning and 4 p.m. in the evening. Now this is to, one, emphasize the essence of this restriction, and two, to correct some erroneous impressions created in certain media houses that Lagos State has declared a public holiday. We have not declared a public holiday. It is a stay-at-home order for the first 3 days of the census. There's a difference between a general public holiday and a stay-at-home order. Now, the erroneous impression of a public holiday has led some people to start making travel arrangements, which is exactly not the essence of this restriction of movement. We've had so many inquiries from members of the public asking us to ascertain whether we are declaring a public holiday or a restriction of movement. Now, it is a restriction of movement between 8 in the morning and 4 p.m. And nobody must travel out of Lagos during the entire period of the exercise, from the 21st to 25th of March. No traveling out of Lagos at all. In fact, it is illegal to leave your place of residence where you live and work to go out and be counted elsewhere. It is illegal. And the state has started jingles in the radio and on television, and it will also be in the papers, and there are handbills and posters and outdoor campaign as well to get the message home to everybody that it is illegal to leave your place of residence, particularly Lagos. It is illegal to travel out of Lagos during that exercise. So we want to use this opportunity to correct the impression anybody could have had that it's an holiday which will enable them to travel out of town. It is not true. It's not an holiday for which people can travel. The restriction of movement is to enable everybody to stay at home and be properly enumerated. And properties are also going to be enumerated.
As mentioned earlier, the head count exercise is simply to know the figures of our population. It will provide invaluable data for planning to ensure that our nation continues on a proper course of progress. Enumerators will visit you in your homes and ask simple questions. Ensure you give the maximum cooperation by making yourself and the entire family available and answer their questions. The benefits to be derived from the head count exercise are really quite large.
Our state is a shining example to the world of how people of different religious faiths should live together in mutual respect and tolerance for the progress of our state. I thank every resident of this state, men and women, old and young, for your steadfast support for our administration, even at the most trying times. Together, we have taken giant strides in development of our state, and we have become the role model of excellence in all aspects of our national life. I pray that God, in His infinite wisdom, will continue to guide, protect, and prosper every family resident in Lagos State. Amen. Today, the focus of my address to this state is the forthcoming national census exercise. As you all know, from next Tuesday, the 21st of March, to Saturday, the 26th of March, year 2006, there will be a national population head count throughout the country. The purpose of this exercise is to establish the accurate population of Nigeria and the actual number of residents in each state and local government area of the country. This census is very critical to the present development and future prosperity of Lagos State and Nigeria as a whole. We must know the exact number of Nigerians there are and the state and local government where they reside before we can plan meaningfully to overcome poverty. Development is first and foremost about people. It is about the provision of education, healthcare, shelter, employment, and security for men and women and children. Development is about the creation of a healthy environment for people to live in. It is about the provision of social and physical infrastructure like water, electricity, road, drainages, and as well as communication and recreational facilities for the benefit of people. If development is essentially about human beings, then we must have an accurate knowledge, first, of the total number of people who live in the country, and second, the specific number of residents of each state and local government area. It is only through such a reliable database that the goals of development can be achieved. This is why I call on all residents of Lagos State to be part of the success of the census. We must all make sure that not only that we are counted, but that all of us who reside in Lagos State are counted here in Lagos. Because this is where you reside to work or do your business. This is where your children go to school. This is where we must provide water for you. This is where we must plan hospitals for you. This is where we must build market for you. This is where you are landlords and tenants. This is where we must build and maintain roads for you. The law states clearly that every person must be counted in the place where he or she normally resides. The only way for us to have credible census figure that can be reliable for the well-being of the present and future generations is for everyone who resides in this state to stay and be counted in Lagos. For the avoidance of doubt, let me make it clear that anyone who resides in Lagos State but traveled to be counted elsewhere will be treated as a saboteur and lawbreaker. This state will be severely shortchanged if people resort to the habit of traveling to their native hometowns or taking a vacation during this census period. The state will be seriously underestimated, making it impossible for us to mobilize and plan adequate resources to cater for massively populated megacity like Lagos. For instance, credible international organizations like the UN Habitat and UNDP have projected that at present annual growth rate of 3.6% per annum, Lagos State will be, by year 2015 I mean, be the third largest megacity in the world. There is no doubt that the current official estimated population of Lagos State is unrealistic. Every one of us has seen the massive head at Oshodi, Idumota, Agege, Ajegunle. Everyone has witnessed the massive growth rates of Ikotun, Ejigbo, Egbe, Alimosho, Igodo. This is the time to put all the numbers right. This is the time to make sure the figures are correct, accurate, and it reflects the actual number of people in the particular area. People of Lagos State, you can therefore see how important this exercise is for our collective good. This is why we have directed that everyone should stay at home to be counted during the exercise. Let me emphasize at this stage again that this directive is not a public holiday to travel out of Lagos. If any resident of Lagos State does not produce evidence of having been counted in Lagos, such a person will not be able to benefit from any of our free or subsidized social services and may have to pay special levies on land transactions. Let me emphasize once again that we have not declared a public holiday, but all residents must cooperate with the census authorities by remaining at home to be counted through the period.
In the usual, ever-dynamic and wholly encompassing manner, the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put out some measures to make the census successful. But to make the plans and schemes achieve the desired success, your participation is very important. As mentioned earlier, the 1991 census achieved considerable success due to great improvement in transportation and accessibility to many areas. Awareness and education levels were also factors that helped. This is year 2006, a period of 15 years after. Apart from the greater technological and telecommunication capabilities at our disposal, levels of education, sense of unity in spite of the differences, as well as a general acceptance to participate in the census, should make this census 2006 a huge success. Please ensure you are counted to make Nigeria a better place for us all.
The census 2006 has come and gone after so much hype and preparations. For an exercise that the preparations and planning started way back in 2004, one would have expected a hitch-free and near-perfect headcount exercise. To get an almost accurate result, the authorities had declared a stay-at-home order throughout the period of the exercise between the 21st and 25th of March 2006, and to which all Nigerians heeded. To say that government is powerful is an understatement. It is evident by the near-deserted streets all over the country and most especially in Lagos State. But one may wonder if the planning and preparations actually proved itself. The first 3 days of the exercise was practically lost due to logistic problems ranging from insufficient materials, reported cases of enumerators who had been trained but absconded, while there were protests in different parts of the country by some enumerators over non-payment of their allowances.
This morning, right from the 6 a.m. in the morning. And what's keeping you waiting till then? So we have been waiting for the material that we needed for the job. so we can't find any of it. So that is why we are waiting.
I've been waiting since yesterday, and the list is not yet out. Those who attended training, we've been waiting here, and we have an ID card, our clients, everything, and the list is not yet out. And what we find out is that those that don't come for the training at all, their names are out, and we've been here since.
What did you give you that evidence that those who that and it's not in our...
So when we were checking the board, most of people were like, hey, thank God, my name is out. And I was like asking some people, did you come for training? They said, no, they didn't come for training. They don't have an ID card to identify them. Because we're like saying, if they should go for the census now, before we enter a house, we have to identify ourselves. I'm an enumerator, but there is nothing to show for all these things. So we are pleading, they should answer us. We've been here, most of us, students.
You know, we have made some arrangements before. It's the distribution of the materials that we are not giving on time. And the list of people that we are supposed to go and do the work. You know, so many confusion cases when already arrangements have been made, some lists have already been printed. So many of them were not listed in the list, and so many complaints, part of the complaints, you know, that's led the movement to be slow.
Meanwhile, Lagos State was not left out of all the hype and preparations, considering the energy expended by the present administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in its usual administrative, dynamic and pragmatic manner in achieving results for the good of Lagosians. Prior to the headcount exercise, the administration had embarked on massive campaigns to enlighten the citizenry on reasons why it was important for those who reside in Lagos to be counted in Lagos. This is evident in the various press conferences given by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and aides, different posters in different languages and billboards spread all over the metropolis. There were jingles all over the electronic media to further enlighten the citizenry. This was really important, as there were fears that residents in Lagos who are not Lagosians might want to get counted in their states of origin or their local governments, and obviously the negative effect this will have on Lagos State is quite obvious, as the importance of the head count is very essential for planning. Not one to rest on his oars, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was on his feet all through the exercise. And in view of what he observed, he pointed out that there were millions of Lagosians who were yet to be enumerated as at when the exercise was coming to an end. This led to his agitation for an extension of the exercise, which was later granted by the federal government via an extension of 2 days.